Parris Campbell was wide receiver 50 last year, 63 receptions, 91 targets, 623 yards, 3 touchdowns, an average of 5.4 targets per game. Thoughts on Parris Campbell?
Parris Campbell's one of the guys in this receiving room that I like a little bit more than the rest. I I think he really kind of fits into almost the Cole Beasley type role in Brian Daboll's offense. Now, it's been a hot minute since Beasley was in Buffalo and everything else, but when he was, he got peppered with targets out of the slot. And was very serviceable. I think he finished like wide receiver 18 or something one season, kind of came out of nowhere. And he was a nice piece to have. I think Parris Campbell can do a lot of those things that Cole Beasley did. Health was a big issue in Indianapolis. He was better last year, but then poor quarterback play kind of sealed his fate, right? Parris Campbell has been a guy that we have hammered hard on this show. Like, we have been big-time supporters and apologists of Parris Campbell. So this is – I think we were off on him last year. He showed a little bit better. I think I'm going to jump – I'm not going to jump. I'm going to dip my toe back into the water. I'm going to say late round pick, wide receiver fill in. If I have to throw a dart, like, this guy is the guy who I think has the best chance to succeed in Brian Daboll's passing game.
It wasn't meant to be for Parris Campbell there in Indianapolis. I think the change of scenery does him well. I do think, though, that what the Giants have done, and I kind of said this earlier, you know, they didn't really have receiving options last year, and then they got hit by the injury bug. And so what they did, I think, was a little overcorrection. They brought in like anybody that was there and available, and they signed him to a contract because this receiving room now has a lot of – it's got a lot of people, and there's going to be a few that I think might be cut day victims that I just don't know, you know, who is actually on this roster when it's done. I'm confident that Parris Campbell will be there. There's a couple other guys that I'm confident will be there as well. But realistically, they've got a lot of mouths to feed on this. So I say all that to say this. I'm still not last year we saw what Parris Campbell could be with mediocre quarterback play. Now we get to see if he can stay healthy for a full season, what he can be with mediocre quarterback play. Like, it's just right. It's like where I'm at with him, that I just don't see that there's any improvement there with what he provided for us last year. So again, say all that to say this, Parris Campbell is not somebody that I'm all that interested in this Giants receiving room.
Kevin, you're going to be in luck if you're wanting to put Parris Campbell on your roster as a late pick. He'll be there for you at wide receiver 72 off the board, pick 178 overall, right? Like, in that almost undrafted territory. So he's a guy you can take with your last pick of the draft. And Kevin, I'm going to subscribe to what you're putting down there, right? Like, when you're talking about a guy that can go out and with the last pick of the draft and get you a couple of weeks here and there, this is a guy that I think could be the guy that we see emerge a little bit, right? He's going to be most likely playing out of the slot there. There's a lot of reports talking about how he's flashed so far, and he's looked really good in mini camp there. And really, who's going to compete with him in the slot? It's probably going to be Wan'Dale Robinson, who's coming off of a big knee injury.